Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you for joining me again for another live community chat here on my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Angela. I'm a full time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator, and my channel is dedicated to those of you just getting started in this wonderful world of voiceover and audiobook narration. And through my channel, I share with you some tips and tricks and techniques and things that I do every day in my own voiceover business. And then we get together in these weekly community chats to talk about a topic or two or three or five. But if you're not new here, sorry, I don't know why I'm so blurry. Come on, camera, focus. I guess we're not going to focus. Hello, focus. 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 Hopefully it stays there. If you're not new here, then you know every week we have a new poll. And this week, the poll is: have you ever made social media content, either for yourself or for a client? And we talk about social media a lot here on my channel. And because it's important and becoming increasingly important for not only supporting your business, well, yeah, supporting your business in two ways, I should say, for marketing yourself and for helping your clients market themselves. If you have ever watched, I guess social media really could be YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. We now have these AI voices that our clients can use on their videos because I've met so many people who make this just the greatest content, but then they'll use either AI voices because they all say that they hate the sound of their own voice, right? Well, guess what? You're a voice actor. If you're watching this, you're either thinking about it or you're in the beginning stages of, or you've maybe even been doing this for a little while. So I'm hoping something today will help, spark some inspiration for you or answer some questions and maybe lead you down a path or maybe even a rabbit hole of maybe something you haven't thought about trying before. So, as voice actors, we can offer our voices as a service to those people instead of using an AI voice, right? So, an acronym I'm going to tell you here in a second is, I want you to write this down. So, I hope you have a pen and paper. UGC stands for user generated content. Now, this could be anybody on social media, any kind of creator that is creating content for social media, right? It's user generated content. And that includes you, actually. If you're a user and you're generating your own content, that is also you. But I want you to think of it in terms of a search term, like on Fiverr, for example. And we're going to get into that in just a second. But I was watching the poll, and I'm actually surprised by where we're at with the poll here. So far we have 32 votes. Have you ever made social media content, either for yourself or for a client? And that could be just voiceover, it could be video snippets, it could be really anything. I just want to know, have you ever done it? 31% of you said yes for myself. I thought that would be the clear front runner. 3% of you said yes for a client, so that's good. 31% of you said yes for both. That's even better. I'm actually surprised by 34% of you said not yet, meaning no social media content, period, ever. Don't do it. I just don't do it. And I think if you're in that category, I know, especially if you're someone like myself, believe it or not, I am an introvert. I don't like showing my face online. I don't like being on social media. It makes me feel all oogie, makes my skin crawl. But if you're someone like me, social media can be a game changer, not only for your business, but in making connections for your business, right? Promoting yourself and then making connections into finding new jobs, making new relationships with clients, and then in turn being, exposed, introduced into their into their contacts or their connects or relationships within social media. The internet is a wonderful, wonderful thing, and social media should not be overlooked. So then you ask me, okay, well, if I need to get onto social media to promote myself and to market my business and to make those connections, what kind of content do I make? Well, you don't necessarily have to show your face. You don't. You can make static image content, right? Or just text or something that doesn't necessarily need to show your face. You could record a video of something that is cool going on, like a booth tour, or maybe if you have dogs, film your dogs, and then you do the voiceover for it. Or you could be like the daily, I've said this before, you could be like the daily affirmation person. You could think of something that is clever, funny, relaxing, whatever it is. Create content and then you create the voiceover for it. And that is what our clients want too. They don't necessarily need to show their voices and things or show their faces. But maybe they're promoting their product. Maybe they're promoting their business. Maybe they're promoting their service. They're promoting something so that they can promote their businesses on social media, but don't like the AI voices and don't like their own voice. Well, guess what? In making those connections, you could now potentially be their voice for them. I think that was a couple of tangents. One, maybe one and a half. But I encourage you, if you're in that not yet bracket, I would definitely encourage you to get onto social media, to start introducing yourself to the world and to what you do and how to contact you and what you sound like and things like that. It's one of the best ways to go about that, marketing yourself. And it's free. It just costs you a little bit of time, right? And then we'll even talk about more things that you can do, more skills that you can learn to even make yourself an even more valuable package online as a service. So cool. All right. So let's go over to the comments and then we'll continue on with some of the things that I wanted to show you here in a little bit. Let's just see who's here. First in, Rustic Hillbilly. Good morning, Rustic Hillbilly. Morning all, checking in, but can't stay. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Well, thank you for stopping by, and I hope you also have a wonderful day. Dylan Holt is here. Morning all. I've used social media for both, mainly TikTok and Instagram. Not as much as I should, though. I know you're making your own content for TikTok and Instagram, but are you, Dylan, are you making content for other people? Or at least just your voice? I've done it a few times. I need to do more of it. Robert Reed is here. Well, good. We can finally get started. Robert's here. How you doing, Robert? Good morning to everyone. It looks like a great topic. I think it is. It's an important topic. It's something that I think a lot of us, especially in my generation and generations before my generation, social media is sort of like the thing the kids do. It's not like a really necessary thing. Like we don't, we get on there to keep connections with people, perhaps when we move out of state or stuff like that, right? I mean, we had MySpace when I was young, and then then we had Facebook, and then we have all the things that we have now. So social media isn't really as important or vital to us, I think, in my generation and the previous generation, as it is to the generations of today, the millennials and Gen Z. But it is important to utilize these tools to promote yourself and your business. I feel a tangent coming on. I'm going to stop it right there. Brian's here. Good morning, Brian. Good to see you. Tim Gleason is here. Good morning, Tim. I hope you got everything with Discord figured out. Voiceover Van Deen, how are you, my friend? Tea is brewing downstairs. I'll be back in a sec. Cool. What kind of tea you having today? Got some biscuits with your tea? MG Stevens is here. Good morning, Angela and everyone. Good morning, MG. Glad to see you. Diana T. I've just mainly used Facebook and Instagram for personal use. I like making stories and have created some reels once that became a thing. And I hope to make more in the future. Good. I think you should, especially if you have the knowledge. You've already sort of got the process down. Keep going. Keep going for sure. Dylan says, LOL, you sound like my teachers from high school. Focus, focus, focus. You were one of those kids, huh? Mm-hmm. Doesn't surprise me. Brittany Beck says, I used to be scared of making social media content, but now honestly, I love it. Well, that's good. I know it's and you've been doing really well with it. Um, I think it's just one of those things that it's scary to start. And I mean, it's kind of, intimidating or for some people even terrifying to start something new. But once you do it, and as I always say, just do it, right? Just go record something. Just do it already. And once you just do it, once you make that first scary step, you're like, oh, well, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It was actually quite fun. Right. And then you start to get some feedback and some interaction with some other like minded people online. And you go, okay, this isn't so bad. And then you get the process down and you just keep going from there. But taking that first step, I think, is the scariest for most people. And I totally understand that. Tanya's here. Hey, Tanya. Not sure why I needed to subscribe again. Weird. I'm not sure either. Sure. Maybe you unsubscribed at some point. I won't take it personally, I promise. Tanya says, I always struggle with knowing what to post on Instagram. I think someone gave me great advice once and they said, it doesn't have to be voiceover related. It doesn't have to be. You could share some personal things, right? It doesn't have to be, your deepest, darkest thoughts on topics. But I mean, if you have pets, showcase your pets. If you have a love of cars, showcase your cars. Go out for a walk and, talk about taking time to relax. I mean, it could be anything. And then every once in a while, you can inject a couple of videos or posts about the fact that you are a voice actor, that you narrate audiobooks. You could, with the author's permission, do a little behind the scenes, shoot a video of yourself recording a part of the book that you're currently working on. I'm sure the author wouldn't mind. That's promotion and getting people excited about the upcoming audiobook. I don't think that would be a bad thing, right? Do a booth tour. Ask questions of your fellow voice artists. Making connections with people in your own industry is a good thing too, right? Because then once you're in their circle, then you become part of their circle, and then the surrounding circles around them, right? Their connections. And then you start to go further with meeting new people and making new relationships. Not only that, but networking with other audiobook narrators. There could be a time where perhaps someone who has a close style to your own and a similar voice tone to your own, they can't do the book, so they tell the author, well, I know someone else who sounds close to me and my delivery. I can give you their contact information. And they wouldn't have met you unless you were in their circle and they knew about you, right? So, I mean, making social media content could really take you far if you just get involved, right? Get involved. And I mean, honestly, I need to do more of it too. I think my platform of choice is YouTube. I think I'm most comfortable with YouTube, but I need to do more on TikTok. I need to do more on all the other platforms, but it's usually the way it goes, right? You have one platform that you kind of like better than most of the others. I get that. Eleanor Weed says, I just started making a social media marketing class at the junior college. Timely topic. Well, that's awesome. I think you should probably even do maybe like a YouTube series on it. I wouldn't mind showcasing that if it helps everybody else. Because I think social media and then social media like content creation and also marketing is huge, especially for those of us that don't really know much about it, Bears VOA says, change mine to yes for myself. Okay, good. I posted video game footage. Oh, awesome. Yes, that is also another great idea for making social media content. If you were a video game player, you could do walkthroughs. You could do, live, what do they call that? When you're on, you could play videos online and then showcase that, right? So they can hear your voice, they get a little bit of your personality. I mean, really, anything that you enjoy doing. Pamela's here. Good morning, all. Good morning, Pamela. Hey, Phantom Voice, how you doing? Sorry I'm late. The solar eclipse changed me. I blame it on that. Well, I hope you brought the donuts. You know the rule. If you're late, you bring the donuts. Michelle is here. Good morning, my friend. Morning. Made it to class a little late. Coffee first. Absolutely. I can't blame you for that. Can't blame you for that. Coffee, it's a necessity. It is a necessity. Pamela says social media class at JC. Telling you, we need that stuff. Phantom Voice says, I hear my voice when I record and I sound very nasally. And to this day, I still cringe myself out. I'm nervous to even post a LibriVox. Okay. I have heard this comment many, many times from many, many people. I sound too nasally. I sound too sibilant. I sound too insert excuse here. I bet you're the only one that hears it. I want to bet you that you are the only one that hears that. I think I heard I heard it yesterday talking to somebody. I was working with a mentee yesterday and they said the exact same thing. And I said, I don't hear that. I don't think so. We are the biggest critics of our own voices. We are our biggest critic, worst critic. Get feedback from other people, feedback from your peers. They'll tell you if you're overthinking it, because more often than not, I think we are. We're the ones overthinking everything. And that's what, puts that big stop sign in front of us. We do it to ourselves. We need to stop that crap. Old Slacker says, hi, Angela. Hope you're doing well. I am fabulous this morning. Thank you for asking. I hope you're doing all right. Rider Dude says, good morning. Good morning, Rider Dude. Gary Micheloni. Hey, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. YouTube is a must-have for social media. I agree. I agree with that. Google highly rewards its own apps for SEO. There's that too. Plus, as a VO, you can have unlimited samples hosted there. YouTube allows a photo with an audio track as well. YouTube is a great way to store and share video as well, or demos, YouTube, it really is a must-have. It really is. That's a great point, Gary. Robert says, I've created YouTube things that I post on Facebook, mainly singing and some reading in the spiritual realm. Good. Keep at it. The key, and if anybody knows who Gary Vee is, his main point is whatever you do on social media, it doesn't have to be professional grade. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be fully edited and polished. It doesn't. The main thing that it needs to be is consistent. Consistently posting is what is going to get you the growth and the reach that you want on social media. It doesn't have to be perfect. So get that out of your head. It doesn't have to be professional or perfect or, whatever you're thinking it needs to be. It doesn't. It just needs to be consistent. Period. Leslie says, good morning, all from a rainy, cold Texas. Is it still raining, Texas? Good God. I get intimidated by how often to post. Do you have a continuation? No, you don't. Okay. I thought maybe there was a second part. Just going back here. Let's go. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Leslie, I can understand the intimidation, but even like once a day, a couple times a week, whatever you decide is going to be your interval for posting, just stick to that. Doesn't have to be hourly, doesn't have to be daily, just, or even weekly for that matter. Just stay consistent. Tanya says, I know reels are the thing that gets more views, but when it comes to voiceover and narrating, not sure what kind of reels to make for them, considering I'm new to it all. And you also need to take that preoccupation out of your head too, that you're new and then just get out there, right? Just get out there. And reels, to that point, I think the short videos is really where it's at. So even if it's a static image, like a quote, and you're reading the quote and then telling everybody to have a great day, that could be the thing, right? You just need to come up with something that you need to post or that you can post on a consistent basis, right? And video, I think, is really where it's at these days. I mean, if you look at TikTok, my God, everybody and anybody is on TikTok. And that's, I think, where a lot of people are finding that success. Now, where TikTok is going to end up and what's going to ultimately happen with TikTok, I don't know. But that just goes to show you that video is really that those bite-sized videos of distraction, I think is what everybody wants. Little bite-sized videos of either distraction, education, or information, right? Tim says Discord, not yet. I'm sorry you're having issues with Discord. I think we'll have to probably try to troubleshoot that. If you're able to come to the group meeting on Thursday for Platinum, then we can maybe help you try to troubleshoot that. But it sounds like a Discord thing. I would definitely reach out to some customer support at Discord and see what they can do to help you out with that. Brian says, one of the problems with most social media marketing that I see is that it becomes a full-time job. You're supposed to post like every day. I mean, you can, but I don't think it's like it's a must. I mean, obviously, the more that you're putting in, the more return and the faster you're going to see it, right? But you don't have to post every day. You don't have to. Tim says Liz Drury makes the point that your social media posts don't even have to be about your voiceover business. Just stay visible. It's exactly what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be all voiceover. And I think a lot of times we think that it does, and it doesn't. You just have to be visible. People can see and hear you, or just hear you. Diana says, yes, I haven't posted anything on YouTube yet, even though I have an account. I've only watched things on it. That's called live streaming. Yeah, absolutely. Live streaming is definitely a good way to go too. And then you can use that content for other things. Right. But before, what time is it? Okay. So here's what I want to do. I wanted to show you something for those of you that are on Fiverr. And for those of you that are not on Fiverr, just to kind of continue on with our Fiverr conversation, because we talked about Fiverr, was it last week or the week before? I lose all track of time, but we were talking about Fiverr just recently. But I wanted to show you Fiverr. This is me just plugging in the words up here in the search bar for UGC voiceover. And going back to what I was saying before about user generated content, UGC, that's the acronym that's being used quite a bit for this kind of content that we've been talking about. So as a buyer, I went into Fiverr and I just plugged in these words. And also keep in mind that they also suggest other terms, and you can use these as your tags in your Fiverr gigs. So Fiverr gives you a lot of information to use to help get seen. You just have to look for it and utilize it, right? So anyway, back to what I'm saying. I plugged in UGC voiceover, and there are only 22 results, only 22 gigs that come up with those keywords. Now, if I get rid of the voiceover part and just do UGC, there are quite a few results that come up, right? Over 7,400. But most of these, if I look at the filters, are for videos, ads, commercials, social media marketing, videos, modeling, acting. There's all kinds of stuff in here. So that is why I got specific with UGC voiceover. Now, if you do have the ability, if you have some video editing skills or would like to learn them, and I highly recommend that you learn basic video editing skills. Even as a voice actor, it'll make you more versatile and more valuable to your clients. You'll become more of a one-stop shop if you have some basic video editing skills. Now, if you do have them, then you could even put a gig into one of these areas as well. You could create social media videos and then add voiceover service for them, right? UGC videos, I mean, all of this stuff here. And then we've got all the genders, paid video consultations, all these different genres. If you have any kind of, interest or, in any of these, you could even narrow it down further to a gig in one of those. the different styles. Unboxing is still big. I'm surprised by that. And unboxing is basically, if you don't know, is if you are promoting a product and you're showing what it looks like when you open the box, right? What you get in the box. You start with the box, you open the box, you pull the stuff out and you go, "Oh, this is for," if you're thinking like I don't know, like one of those LED face things that I'm seeing all over TikTok right now. You could say, "Oh, this is the unit and this is what it does." And you go through all the functions, right? And here's the plug that it comes with, and here's the gel that it comes with, and this is what you do with it. But in doing that, you're promoting the product, and then that's you either showing your face doing it, or you're just cameras pointed at the item and you're using your voice as the voiceover and describing what you're doing. I mean, if you really think about it, there's so many different ways a voice artist can get into any of these little subcategories in Fiverr with offering your voiceover services and or basic video editing skills, right? Reaction videos, podcast, Q&As, different specific platforms. I mean, if you do have a following on social media, if you're one of these people that's a influencer, right? If you have all of these people, you could get paid to create these videos and then post them and share them with your followers. Excuse me. So anyway, going back to UGC, you don't want to have as many gigs show up. Let me rephrase. You want to sort of corner the market on a specific niche thing. You'll often hear people talking about like laser targeting a specific audience, or making a very specific offering on places like Fiverr. And this is what they mean. Because if you have UGC voiceover in your tags or in your title of your Fiverr gig, then you will be shown with these 22 other people. And that's a very small pool. Goodness gracious. Yeah, it's a very small pool of buyers to choose from, right? So you could have the standout gig on this one single page of options, right? Anyway, so I wanted to show you that because I don't think you guys realize how much there is out there for voice artists. If you just kind of think outside the box. And right now, user generated content, UGC, is really big. And I think with the more social media platforms there's going to be, and whatever TikTok becomes, there will still be a need for voice artists in that space. And then again, if you can teach yourself some basic video editing skills, you'll be even more of a powerhouse. Tangent 5? I don't know how many tangents that is today. All right. If you have any questions, anything that I just showed you, same thing goes for Upwork too. I just went and checked Upwork. There's a lot of UGC stuff on Upwork too. So when you're searching for jobs, use that acronym, use UGC. Okay. Bears VOA says, good morning, my fellow voice junkies. Yes, the first step is the scariest. Speaking of, I did my first ACX audition now and I can't stop doing them. Good. I'm so proud of you. Good. And that first step is always the scariest. It just is. It's always the scariest. But once you get past it, that's when it just gets so much easier. And you just go like, the hell was I so afraid of? It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Just do it. Caesar is here. Hey, Caesar. How you feeling, buddy? I hope you're feeling better. I have nearly 14 years of hardcore social media experience with some big name companies under my belt. I'm no stranger to SOCMED and UGC and have massive plans for myself. And if anyone wants my help, I'm, or will soon be, available for campaign strategies or a content calendar or both. Look at you, Caesar. Are you going to do a YouTube series? I think you should make a course or something. I think you should, Caesar. I'd totally watch that. Caesar says, that said, hello, Angela. Hello, everyone. I'm not late. I was discharged this morning and I'm just typing really slow. Well, discharged is a good thing. I didn't realize that you were in hospital, if that's what you mean. I hope everything's all right. I'm hoping that means that you are all right. Worried about you. Bear says, for those cringing about your voice, I will quote Angela. Oh, quote Angela. Just do it. It will get better. Just do it. Just do it. If you need to, what we've talked about before in the counting to 5 and then just acting. And I don't mean like, voice acting. I mean like do it, act, do it, do whatever it is that you were planning on doing. So close your eyes, count to 5 slowly, and then just do it, act. And that'll help you do it. So it sort of blocks out, all of the other voices and things going on. And you just do it. Dylan says, hey, Caesar, I'm so glad to hear that you were discharged. Hope all goes well. Yes. Look at lots of love for Caesar. Yes, Caesar. Glad to hear you're back. Voiceover Van Deen says, tea is Yorkshire, gold, biscuit, singular. Oh, it's a Ringston's ginger snap. Oh, that sounds so good. That sounds so good. Masonry Construction says, SEO, good enough is good enough. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Get more love for Caesar. Leslie says, Caesar, glad you're home. Yes, absolutely. Tanya says, when starting a YouTube channel, would you only post business-related stuff or also typical life stuff as well? Both. Both. Why not? Start with your personal stuff if you want to, or you can start with your voiceover stuff. Just start. Don't get into the analysis paralysis stage or the procrastinating stage. Don't allow yourself to get stuck in any of these stages. Just pick one and go. Just start. Just do what feels right. Right? And then pretty soon your audience, the people who engage and interact and follow and subscribe and all of that stuff, they may start asking you for stuff. That's sort of what happened with me here on my YouTube channel. I started making content because I thought it would be helpful. I was encouraged to do so. And, I didn't want to at first because, introvert, but I got past it and I started making content. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that really wasn't as bad. And then once people started to see my content and engage with me and interact and ask questions, then it sort of became what I have now, which is a fantastic community of people. And many of you join every week and we just have discussions about things. And then it's just become just this amazing thing. So just get started. Just start already. Caesar says, speaking of Gary Vee, he was one of my clients, sort of. I edited and spliced his interview with another wealth generator, Andrew Cordell, a year before the pandemic. Well, that's cool. That's a cool thing to have on your resume. Bears VOA says, oh, and you were talking about streaming video games, Angela. I have seen your YouTubers doing guides, and in under a year, they made a living at it. And the game developer invites them for events and things. Yes, video gaming is huge. If you didn't already know, video gaming is huge. So if you are a video gamer, then share your playtime with other people online and, make a following and a community that way. What's up with my voice today? And so froggy. Oh, we got a super chat. Hold on. Sean Lester. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate your supporting my coffee habit. I appreciate you, sir. There is a plethora of social media, more than I have time and talent to maintain. Which one should I focus on? That is a great question. And I think it's going to vary from person to person to person. Because I've heard a lot of people say that they do a lot better on Instagram, or they prefer to make content for Instagram, or they have a better following on Instagram. And then same with any other platform. Right? For me, it's YouTube. But I think it's going to depend on which one just feels right and is easier to interact and engage and make content for. So I don't know if there's necessarily one that's better than another, but I And I keep saying TikTok because TikTok is just huge right now. But, what's the fate of TikTok? I don't know. But I would say just try them all and just see which one works better for you, because you might be surprised at what you find it easier to engage with people. You know, might be different for everyone. Where was I? Thank you for the super chat, Sean. I appreciate you. Caesar says, thanks, everyone. I'm sorry I've been away. I wasn't responding to meds. Temps were at 105. Food had a bitter aftertaste, and I collapsed at a mall. Oh my God, Caesar. Last few days were a complete blur. Glad to be back. Well, glad to have you back, and so glad that I'm guessing, on the mend. I'm hoping you are. My goodness. Enduring Media says, I've been working on Twitter posts, albeit slowly. I have plans for YouTube shorts for sure as well. Good. Good, good, good. Just get out there. I mean, there's so many different platforms and so many different ways of sharing content and getting out there. And as I say, introducing yourself to the world. So just pick one and just get started, and then, slowly build platforms on or profiles on all the other platforms. Don't overthink it. Just do. Caesar says, missed everyone. We missed you too, Caesar. Angel says, posting about interesting things about your life is good, not just VO. Absolutely. Because you never know when something that you enjoy could be something that someone else enjoys. I mean, even the things that you consider nerdy, like I'm a book nerd. I like, I'm a vampire fan. I love Game of Thrones. I mean, there's a lot of things about me that I'm sure other people love too. So share some things about yourself too. You're going to find all of your tribes in those respects too. So it's not a bad thing, share a little bit about yourself and your loves, things that you enjoy doing, and then a little bit of VO. Why not? Masonry Construction says, thanks to the tip. I've not used UGC as a keyword yet, mostly used voiceover, voice actor. Voiceover as 2 words does better than voiceover as 1 word, just FYI. Voice talent, storyteller, narrator, and narration will include UGC now. Yeah, give it a try and see if it works well for you. I mean, because you never know when a keyword is going to benefit your algorithm or not. So give it a try. Do some beta testing and see if it works for you. Or you could create a gig that's all that it is, right? Like we saw on some of those thumbnails, UGC video voiceover, right? Just make it a specific gig for that specific reason and see how well it does. Masonry Construction says, whatever social media content you post for yourself, always give a backlink to your website. Ideally, have many social accounts linking to your website. Yeah, that's also a good SEO strategy. Brian says, how would you charge for UGC voiceover? I would start by doing, like, for example, if you were looking for rates to charge on places like Fiverr, I would start with research, doing what I just did as a buyer on Fiverr, and play around with some keywords and see what comes up. And then take a look at the gigs that come up with that associated keyword and what they're charging, right? How their prices are structured, meaning for how many words, how many revisions, what other services are included, or what other services are offered. Just take a look at those, relevant or close, comparable to your seller level, and then try that. That's what I would do. That's what I have done. Just play with it. Big Apple voiceover. I like that username. Great Harlan Hogan VO. Tanya says, so glad you're better, Caesar. Yes, absolutely. We're worried about you for a while. Brian says, Caesar, can you give us some sample scripts to make UGC VO Fiverr demo? I would, if you're looking for just basic scripts to use for demos and things, utilize ChatGPT for script copy. Do that. Glenn York says, very new to this game. Oh, also, just to go back to Brian, if you're in my platinum group, We have a folder, a Google Drive folder that is chock full of sample scripts that you're allowed to use for that purpose. But if you're not in my Platinum group and you're looking for sample script copy, ChatGPT can help you create some copy for demos and samples and things. Glenn York says, very new to this game, currently in the analysis paralysis stage. What is the recommended first step for someone starting from absolute square one? That is a very loaded question because everyone's path is going to be different. And again, there are so many variables involved, from studio to studio, person to person, gear to gear. So I would start with, I'll tell you how I started. I started in the research phase. I was on YouTube constantly looking for different voice actors and listening to what everybody said about everything, and then making my own decisions on what applied best to my situation. I would also highly recommend getting involved in joining some groups on Facebook, some voiceover groups. Again, just soaking it all in, asking questions, getting familiar with terminology and lingo and things like that. And then also practicing. If you're wanting to become a voice actor and doing mainly commercial work, then repeat some of the commercial copy that you hear out loud. If you want to be an audiobook narrator, read audiobooks out loud, or audiobooks, read books out loud, listen to audiobooks on Audible or YouTube, right? Whatever it is that you're wanting to do within this industry, practice that out loud a lot. And then listen to all the videos, ask questions, and then, do research on what kind of gear you want to start out with. There's a lot of steps to this. And I can tell you that my channel here on YouTube has a lot of videos. I have a lot of videos here on my channel that go through just about every step and aspect, just about, I think. And then also you'll find additional information from other voice artists here on YouTube as well. So take it all in, and then, pick a square to start from, because there are a few. Caesar says to Brian, I'll suppose I could. I could also give them to Angela so they could be part of the Platinum Assets folder. There are so many UGC categories you can break into, such as wellness, health influencer, day in the life vlogger, true crime. True crime is a big one. Food, daily affirmation, dad jokes. That's another good one. The list goes on. Yes. Thank you for doing that, Caesar. That would be awesome. Phantom Voice says, I used to have quite a deep bass voice, but it seems that my voice has gotten a little higher over the years with not as much thunder, if that makes sense. I would say yes, but everyone listening to you now wouldn't know what was missing, if that is truly the case, right? Just to embrace your voice as it is. Learn to love everything about you, Phantom Voice. Now that I'm blurry again. Hello, camera. Camera. Gremlins. Masonry Construction says, one of the great things about YouTube is that content posted there stays a very long time. I have marketing videos I created about 14 years ago, which are still up there. Yes, and I have videos that I created 4 or 5 years ago that are still on YouTube and that still help people, in this industry. So it's content that is just always there. Well, really the same thing could be said about any social media platform. Some people might have to go back further within your profile to find it, but it's still there. Bear says, I don't think that I could ever fully express, don't drop the coffee, what you have done and created here. You are our rock. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm just trying to help people out, but I appreciate that. And I enjoy this community. I look forward to this every week, to get together with my people. Leslie says, what would a UGC gig include? Only VO, or do you clips to have clients send to their engineer? Again, take a look at what other people are offering on their gigs and for some ideas, depending on what skills you have. If you're only wanting to offer voiceover, you could do that. If you have the ability to sync your voiceover to video, you can offer that. I mean, take a look at what you're willing to do or willing to learn to do, and then offer those skills, and then check out what everybody else's price structure is for those things and start from there. Dylan says, "Oh, dad jokes. That's my jam. My first TikTok post, just me annoying my daughter at the zoo with terrible puns." Perfect. I think a lot of other people could relate to that. Leslie says, "Do you do serious thunderstorms and lightning make for fat finger typing?" It's okay. Caesar says to Leslie, "You could do both. Provide VO and or editing. The rule of UGC is minimal production. It's meant to look like it's done by a regular Joe and not a big corporation." There you go. Something to remember. Ty Condalar says, "I would be afraid of negative, hateful comments. I have low self-esteem and I'm an introvert, so it's a double whammy for me." I can completely relate to this comment. I had the same fears. Again, introvert. I'm a badge-wearing member. And that was one of my main fears, was people, um, you know, saying mean things about my voice or my face or my studio or my sound or my videos being out of sync, or, just nitpicking things that ultimately don't really matter. And then once I got started and I started to encounter some of these people, I have found that with the majority of my feedback and comments have been, "Hey, thank you for this," or, "I was stuck doing this, but now I know how to do it," or, "Thank you, you're entertaining at the very least," far outweigh the people that have, the trolls that just come out to say negative things. The good far outweigh the bad. And now even the bad, I don't take any of that stuff personally, because I know you have to be comfortable with yourself. Right? I don't have the greatest self-esteem either. I mean, I don't know anybody that could, honestly tell you I have the best self-esteem in the world. Right? We're all a little self-conscious about little things, and that's not our fault. Right? That's just kind of the way we were raised with social media and, the perfection thing. I mean, we're all kind of phased by that. But I also have people that ask, about my mole, and have people ask me about, telling me that I sound like Alexa or AI or, a myriad of other things. But I don't let that stuff bother me, because I know that those people don't mean it. They just want to be seen or heard, and they're hurting themselves, you know, like they needed a little bit of attention for themselves to make themselves feel a little better. You know what I mean? But once you realize that majority of the time that's why people do that, then you're just like, okay, well, I'm going to acknowledge you, but I'm not going to buy into what you're saying. You're just looking for a little attention yourself. Really. That's how I look at it. Joe Pay says, learning and loving it. Good. Bear says, wait, what? We have a folder? Yes. If you go to the resources page, they're underneath the Platinum tab on my website. The resources page will have all of the, the planners, the ebooks, all of the digital assets you can download there. And there's also a link to, I think it's called Script Library. And then if you go to that Google folder, there's a ton of stuff there. There's YouTube scripts, there's commercial scripts, there's audiobook scripts, there's IVR scripts. I mean, even Chris has written some audiobook excerpts for us exclusively. So there's a lot of good stuff in there. Caesar says to Ty Condalar, I feel you and I can relate. I think most people can. For mental health, avoid comments or assign a social media manager to the task. But remember that both positive and negative engagement is still engagement. That's another way to look at it. Engagement is still engagement. You're being seen, right? So even if people are saying mean things, you're still being seen. That was the goal. That was the ultimate goal for making the content, was to be seen. It's another way to look at it. Good point, Caesar. Dylan says to Ty Condalar, I'm the same way, but I've found TikTok to be a very cool place. Never gotten a bad comment under a video. Good. Masonry Construction says, if you are concerned about being on camera in addition to hearing your voice, then create audiographs, which is a medium with a nice photo plus your audio. Yeah, it's sort of like what I was talking about before. There's a great website, headliner.app. It's made for, I think, mainly podcast promotion, but you could put a static image in there and then insert your audio and then put like stickers and text and do some things with it. And that's free. And I think it, last time I used it anyway, don't quote me, but you could download 10 of those a month for free before you had to sign up for like a membership or something. It might have changed since the last time I've been there, but that's what it was the last time I was there. But check that out. That might help you to make it if you don't have any like video editing software, and it's really easy to use. Brian says, thanks, Caesar. That would be awesome. I bet the Platinum Group would love it. I already love it, and I'm sure everybody else would say the same. Joy is here. Hello, Joy. Hello, Angela and company from sunny and finally warm 71 degrees Southfield, Michigan. I admit I haven't tried posting content for myself about VO yet. Well, Joy, you need to get out there because you are the embodiment of joy. And I think a lot of people would enjoy that, seeing you. And because you just radiate this happiness. And I think a lot of people need that. So I think you should do that. JCC AOL says, Angela, today since I was late, I bought my breakfast sandwiches on a biscuit. Are you going to share with the rest of the class? I mean, there's 45 other people in here. I hope you brought enough to share. Bear says we'll work for Isotope RX. Yeah. Robert says, you have definitely overcome your fears. I never would have known when we first met you. It took a while. It took a while, but it can be done. And some of it still affects me. I'm not going to lie. Some of it still does. But I have to tell myself, like Caesar said, at least I'm being seen. My goal is achieved. Even if it's, by people that just have mean things to say. JCC AOL says, I am amazed. Anyone says anything bad, unreal. Well, they do. I mean, people are, there's going to be bad apples out there that just live to make other people miserable. And you just have to recognize that for what it is. It's not you, it's them. And they probably need a hug. Tanya says, those trolls and negative comments help your algorithm. Well, yeah, I guess they do, don't they? Hang on a second. MG Stevens says, we are all so special and unique, and most negative comments come from people who are going through stuff that no one really knows. Just more reason for us all to be kind. Thank you so much, Angela. Absolutely. Leslie says, thanks for this discussion today, Angela. Learned so much and new avenues to travel down. Good, because that is ultimately the goal for each one of these conversations, right? Is to talk things out so we can have a better understanding of certain topics or, maybe avenues to go down. But then also to share not only my perceptions and experiences about these things, but everyone watching, you can also share yours. And we help each other in that respect. And that is ultimately the goal for these community chats, is not just so I can be a talking head. It's so we can all share our perspectives and our opinions and our information and our experiences about things. Because that is, I think, ultimately what is going to help us all move forward, right? The tide rises all, or lifts all boats, right? Is that the saying? Tide lifts all boats? Anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about. But for any of you watching in Team Replay, or any of you right now, if anybody has anything that you would like to talk about in one of these community chats, something that you're just dying to learn more about or want to know a better definition of, then please put it in the comments, and it could be something that we talk about in future weeks. But thank you all for spending some time with me today. I've got to get going. I appreciate you guys spending an hour of your day with me and with everyone else here. And I will be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel. And have a great week. I'll see you then. Bye.